Greetings, Memory here with another edition of SaaS Metrics School. Welcome. So, talking about one of my top requested coaching sessions, which is the structure, the setup of your SaaS P&L. So, this is so important. It is fundamental to SaaS financial management, financial analysis, flowing this data into our SaaS metrics. So, a little bit about how I assess the setup of your SaaS P&L when I get on these coaching sessions. And again, such a common one, but also an important one. So I applaud all these founders and finance teams who reach out, understand the importance that the visibility in their SaaS P&L. So how I walk through this. First, we look at your chart of accounts. So what is the structure of all the accounts that make up your balance sheet and your P&L? What kind of structure? Do we have enough detail? Do we not have enough detail? How is that set up? And usually the balance sheet is pretty straightforward, but of course we focus on the P&L. So what revenue accounts do we have? How are we coding revenue? Is it coded by revenue stream? Is it coded by product line? Do we need to code it by product line? If we have too many products, do we have another system that would track down to the product ID level? So we need clear and distinct revenue streams in your revenue section. Can't have commingled revenue, just a full stop there, because this affects our MRR schedules, affects our retention schedules, and it affects our SaaS metrics. So we look at that underlying detail of the revenue section, the revenue categories, and what kind of detail do we need there to track our revenue by category. So as we move down the P&L, now we have our cost of goods sold section. So for pure play SaaS, that's tech support, professional services, if you have onboarding, customer success, if they don't sell, and then DevOps. Now, of course, it can be more than that, and that's dictated by your revenue stream. So if I have hardware, I'm reselling hardware, I'm going to have a hardware cost center and COGS. If I have a variable revenue stream, say usage-based pricing, have hard expenses associated with that, I want to see a variable cost center as well. So we have to have proper setup of our COGS sections and formally define those departments. That takes us down to gross profit. And then we have our operating expense section or OpEx section. And this is always R&D or our dev team, sales, marketing, and G&A being general and administrative, HR, finance, accounting, IT, etc. So those are the sections, the expense sections. Of course, we have to have proper department coding. And you have two choices here, either an inline structure where we do GL accounts, say a wage account for sales, a wage account for marketing, for finance, etc., or a dimensional structure where we have unique general ledger accounts, but then we have the second dimension that we open up in our accounting software, where then we can code that expense directly to a cost center. So for example, travel, a common one that just gets lumped together, was that travel for our sales department, marketing, or executives, whatever it might be. So department coding. Then final thing, depending on how big we are, do we have rev rec in place, right? Eventually we need revenue management. We've got to spread out those subscriptions. If it's an annual invoice, for example, usually I suggest 3 to 4 million and above an ARR, and scaling nicely, we need revenue management. So that's how I walk through or assess the structure, the setup of SaaS P&Ls when I get on these coaching sessions. So hopefully this was helpful, and you can look through your P&L and assess it in the same way. And again, if you find value in these episodes, I would love a 5-star rating and review. That really helps me out a lot. So again, how I assess the setup of your SaaS P&L. Thanks.